And tonight on 7 Up Front, Wayne State University debate expert Professor Ronald Stevenson joins us with what we can expect tonight. Hello, Dr. Stevenson. Thank you for being with us this evening on Up Front.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, the first presidential debate was called a disaster by political experts, both sides of the aisle on this one. And it left many Americans feeling embarrassed, some even hopeless. Does this debate take on extra importance for both campaigns?
Absolutely. I'll reinforce that. The first debate was something I don't think anybody really wants to ever see again. I don't think either side, got across in the way that they wanted it to. It definitely wasn't substantive. The upside is I think you're going to see the opposite of that tonight. This is the debate between two candidates that are adept speakers that substantively understand the material. And so this is more along the lines of the debates that people expect when it comes to a presidential election cycle. And also, these two speakers are both a heartbeat away from the presidency. They're two oldest presidential candidates in American history. And so, given we have a pandemic that impacts older individuals more, that's always something that has to be in the back of your mind. And so seeing these individuals, I think, will help shore up support for both parties in terms of what they expect going forward.
And thank you for that, Dr. Stevenson. That's an important point to make, really. What do they need to do to win, both Pence and Harris?
Yeah, they both have very different things that they need to do. Vice President Pence has to sort of employ, I think, the techniques that he's been successful at in the past. Primarily his ability to pivot. He's, in terms of watching different speakers debate, he's one of the best that you ask him a question and he sort of answers it and then immediately pivots back. So if he gets, put on the spot about certain things that Trump has done, he'll sort of explain it, but I highly expect that his response to that will be, but what about Biden doing this? And he's very good at that and very smooth. And then the second thing for Pence that's important is he has to go after Harris and how she's different than Biden. Remember, she's going to be portrayed as the radical left. She has differences with Biden in relation to whether you expand the court, how we approach the Green New Deal. Biden has referenced her as sort of, the next wave of the party. And so I think that Pence will try and exploit that. Plus, you're coming off of just a few months ago, Harris was attacking Biden in the debates. So I expect that he'll use some of the same attacks that she utilized against Biden. Harris, on the other hand, I think is going to be interesting because she really has to hold Pence accountable for Trump's behavior. His recent actions, I think, will be center stage on what's happening with the stimulus. His recent actions in regarding the coronavirus, particularly his ride around Walter Reed, his statement that we don't need to fear COVID. I think everything that she talks about will lead back to, are we doing a good job dealing with the coronavirus? And then she also needs to approach as if she was a prosecutor. She needs to think of him as the witness, and she's trying to get him to say certain things. And if she has that going for her, I think she'll do pretty well in tonight's debate.
And back to your point there, President Trump did test positive for coronavirus shortly after that first debate, making more safety a top priority. So we see some extra safety precautions tonight. How will this play a role in the debate?
Yeah, a lot of times people don't think about how the setting impacts the way that people process things going on. And so, I've seen different discussions. I'm interested to see exactly how the layout ends up. But there will be a divider, and then there's the possibility that Pence won't have anything directly in front of him, which makes sense in the world that Trump wants to advocate in relation to his base, because he doesn't want you to be as concerned about it. But the fact that it is there, that there is, protective devices, I think reinforces, this environment that we all live in, that coronavirus is something that politically we have to have an answer to, which I think translates into, a substantial advantage for Harris.
And so some of the key things tonight you were talking about in terms of how they need to posture themselves going into this debate. But as Americans, Dr. Stevenson, can we be a little bit more hopeful that we'll gain something from this conversation?
Yeah, this would be the conversation if you really, I think, want to understand both sides' substantive positions that you pay attention to. Normally, vice presidential debates just fly under the radar, given current circumstances, and I'm not overly optimistic for the future presidential debates, even despite changes that they may make, that we'll get the type of substantive conversation that I think we are likely to tonight. So I'm hopeful that this will reinstill our faith in how debates should function, in the American presidential system.
And quickly, Dr. Stevenson, do you have your students watching?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't offer extra credit yet, but there's been discussions of it. Even when I haven't, sort of encouraged them to do it, they watch on their own and they bring it up. So, this is definitely something that, whether you're a student and interested in political campaigns, that people seem to be turning into view and watch. So that's, I think, a very exciting.
Very exciting. Large lesson here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Stevenson.
Getting people involved.
Thank you. We appreciate your point of view. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to circling back when this is all said and done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Glenda.
And be sure to tune in for tonight's vice presidential debate right here on 7. The 90-minute event will air commercial-free beginning at 9 p.m. Our network coverage kicks off at 8 o'clock with a 1-hour special, 2020, Pence versus Harris, the vice presidential debate. You can also watch the debate streaming on services Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV.